historic centre of Georgetown, on the Malaysian island of Penang, is the perfect place for the history buff to visit on a beach holiday to the island. Georgetown is Adelaide's sister city and was celebrating 50 years of this connection last year. I've been interested in the Adelaide-Georgetown connection since I learnt in school about the father-son combination of Francis Light and his son William Light. Both lived interesting lives in lands far from Britain in an era where only the adventurous went to those places. Francis Light founded the first British colony in Southeast Asia, in Georgetown, and William Light chose the location of Adelaide and laid out the plans for the city that you see today. St George's Church with a memorial to Francis Light, who died of malaria in Georgetown in 1794. The year before, he sent his 8-year-old son William to school in Britain, and William never saw his father again. Francis leased the island of Pinang from the local sultan. The new British colony was proclaimed on the 11th of August 1786 and named Georgetown for King George III. Francis had a fort built. The original Fort Cornwallis was a wooden structure. The star-shaped brick fort that stands there today was constructed after Francis's death. Inside the fort there is a statue of Francis, and as there were no drawings or paintings of Francis, the statue is based on images of his son William. William was also an artist and painted a few self-portraits, so his statue in Adelaide does actually bear a resemblance to him. Here are the two statues, father and son, with William pointing down to the city that he helped design. The fort was never used in battle, even during the Japanese occupation in World War II. It's still very interesting to wander around. There's now a modern amphitheatre in the grounds, and in the background there are the original storerooms. Just outside the fort is the Queen Victoria Memorial Clock Tower, built to commemorate her Diamond Jubilee, although by the time it was finished in 1902, Queen Victoria had already died. It's 60 feet to the centre of the clock, 1 foot for each year of her reign. The tower is slightly tilted due to World War II bombing. I thought it was just my photography. The historic part of Georgetown was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2008 due to the city's unique architectural and cultural townscape. The Pinang Peranakan Mansion, probably my favourite building in all of Georgetown. It was the former residence of a wealthy Chinese family, and it was built in the late 1890s. The time I visited, it was leading up to Chinese New Year, so the house was decorated with plum blossoms and red decorations. one of the bridges that now connect the island of Penang to the mainland. Modern Georgetown and the temple built on stilts. There are still clan jetties with houses built on stilts over the sea. These were traditional Chinese settlements for the waterfront workers. This one is the Tan jetty, which is still just a residential jetty and not at all touristy. Next to it is the Chu jetty, which in contrast is very touristy, full of souvenir shops and a lot more crowded. Still very interesting to experience. The colony of Georgetown was multicultural right from the beginning. So, along with both Protestant and Catholic churches, there are some very impressive Chinese temples. The large mosque is the Kapitan Keling Mosque, built in 1803, and it was named after the captain of the Indian Muslim community. Georgetown is also well known for its murals, and I had a fun afternoon tracking down most of them. It was like a giant scavenger hunt. Some were easier to find than others, which were down some very small back streets. There is more to see in Georgetown. I've only just shown some of my favourites. Georgetown is a unique part of this big wide world and well worth visiting.